Ladies and gentlemen, this is your SmackDown review on Friday, May 7th, 2021. I am Joseph Conlon. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight here on the Big Fight Field channel. We are going to talk about SmackDown. We are 9 days away until WrestleMania Backlash. And speaking of WrestleMania Backlash, I have an announcement of someone who is going to be actually on the channel next week for the preview and predictions for WrestleMania Backlash. You're going to have to stick till the end of the review to find out who that individual is. It is a first-timer on the Big Fight Field channel, so I'm very happy to welcome him aboard and do a collaboration with him next week on the Big Fight Field channel for WrestleMania Backlash. But we're here to talk about SmackDown tonight. We got to talk about SmackDown. Yeah, I like SmackDown better than Raw. I really do. But for me tonight, really the only things I cared about were everything with Roman Reigns, of course. He's the best thing in pro wrestling right now. So everything with Roman Reigns, the Seth Rollins Cesaro match, and the segment with Bianca Belair and Bayley. And you really missed nothing much after that. So we'll talk about it tonight. I thank you for joining me once again. Before we dive into everything, some people were wondering, well, where is Joseph's review for Dark Side of the Ring? Which, that's a good question. And I thought about it, and I was going to do it on Thursday nights after, but I have decided that I'm going to do Dark Side of the Ring reviews. I'm going to talk about them on the podcast, on the weekend Big Fight Field podcast. And the reason that is because I am a very busy man now with school and coming up towards the end of the school year and probably test coming soon and prom. I am going to be very busy and I'm going to need a lot of sleep. I already do 4 videos a night. I already do 4 reviews a night during the week. Monday Raw, Tuesday NXT, Wednesday AEW, and then tonight Friday SmackDown. And then the podcast on the weekend. I need a day off. And I figure next week is WrestleMania Backlash. So I'm probably not going to have a day off there. So I figure I'm going to save the Brian Pillman review for the podcast tomorrow. And I got a lot to say about that. That was a very emotional and great documentary. So I can't wait to talk about that tomorrow. If you have not already, be sure to go check out the Raw review, NXT, and AEW. Some great content up on the channel this week. And I appreciate everyone, man. Like I said this earlier this week, Monday, we reached 400 subscribers. I appreciate everyone for the huge milestone, that goal that I had. And now the next goal is 500. That's going to be the biggest one yet, because we are going to be halfway to 1,000 subscribers on the channel. That's honestly crazy to say. But let's get started with SmackDown. We had Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso. So this was really good. This segment was great. And to start off, we have Heyman and Roman Reigns doing their own 10-bell salute to Daniel Bryan, with Heyman going ding, ding, and they were trying not to laugh. And then Roman was saying he didn't want to be here anyway because he didn't want to acknowledge me. I love that line. I'm glad that they said he didn't want to be here because he wanted to be a stay-at-home father or whatnot. I'm glad they did that. That line was awesome. He didn't want to be here because he didn't acknowledge me. I love that line, man. Roman Reigns, God, he's so good right now. he says, we have someone else to replace him. And then out came Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso is back. A lot of people did not expect. I mean, I'm going to take that back. A lot of people were speculating, when's Jimmy Uso coming back? He's got to be coming back very soon. WWE is holding back his return for whatnot. He's back, and he showed some love with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. Then out came Cesaro, and he said, you're going to replace Daniel Bryan with Uso? And he started laughing, and he's like, bro, you know what, Roman, you're not my attention tonight. And he said, I got a WrestleMania rematch against Seth Rollins. Rollins then came out and attacked Cesaro, threw him against the stairs. They were brawling. Officials had to pull out. Then out came Teddy Long. Holla, holla. Playa, playa. He did make a tag team match tonight. He did make a tag team match. It was a 10-man tag. We'll get to that later. But Teddy Long was here because it was the throwback edition of SmackDown. It didn't really feel like a throwback show. All they really did was change the graphics to the old graphics back in the day. They played clips of some of the best SmackDown moments from 2000, 1980. And they included the fist. The SmackDown fist. But it wasn't the fist everybody wanted. It was a CGI fist. I'm not surprised. I didn't expect WWE to bring out the old fist. Excuse me, I'm very exhausted, by the way. I knew WWE wasn't going to bring out the fist for tonight, so it's like, why even go out there and campaign for why WWE should bring out the fist for SmackDown? Because it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. So that's that. That's all my thoughts on the throwback. So Teddy Long came out. He said, we're going to raise the stakes with Cesaro and Seth Rollins, because Cesaro, if you beat Seth Rollins, you're going to get a Universal Championship match at WrestleMania Backlash. So then we went right into the Seth Rollins and Cesaro match. This was a very good match. These two guys obviously work well together. Seth Rollins is a great professional wrestler. He is really great. Cesaro is unbelievable. And these guys fought for about 16 minutes, I believe. The match went longer than the WrestleMania match. I preferred the WrestleMania match, to be honest, over this match. We had the Usos out there. And Rollins was telling Jey Uso how he didn't need the Usos out there. He pushed Jey, and then Jimmy super kicked Rollins in the face, threw him back in the ring, and Cesaro hit a neutralizer, which he transitioned into a beautiful setup for a neutralizer. Cesaro gets the 1, 2, 3. Cesaro is going to WrestleMania Backlash to face the Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. That's going to be amazing. That is going to be an amazing match. And there's no doubt in my mind. There is no doubt in my mind this is going to be the main event of the show. Just look at the rest of the matches on the show and look at this match. Nothing compares to this match. The WWE Championship match on Raw, not even close. I love Bobby Lashley, but not even close. This match is going to main event WrestleMania Backlash. And a lot of people were wanting Cesaro to take the Universal Championship away from Roman Reigns. All I've seen on my timeline. Whenever people ask, who do you think is going to be the one to take the title off of Roman Reigns? Some people were saying Cesaro, And I didn't say anything. I kept it to myself. But as much as I love Cesaro, I'm sure everybody loves him. I'm like, no way in a million years would WWE take that Universal Championship off of Roman Reigns for Cesaro. Cesaro is an interim guy. He has always been an interim guy because that's how WWE has valued Cesaro for most of his career. And that sucks. Now, is this going to be an excellent match? Of course it is. Is Cesaro going to bring Roman Reigns to the brink of losing the Universal Championship? Absolutely. And it will be better for the match. But he's not beating Roman. No chance in hell. Just like Vince McMahon's theme song. No chance in hell is Cesaro beating Roman Reigns. Now, maybe we get this match again at Money in the Bank in June. I could see that. But Roman Reigns is not losing the Universal Championship anytime soon. Now, let's talk about Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso is backstage with Roman Reigns after the loss. And he's like, you are the reason. You helped Cesaro. And now look what I have to do. Now I have to defend my title at the pay-per-view. Why can't you just be like your brother? And he said, I don't remember the exact thing, but he says, number one, he says, I don't follow instructions or something like that. I don't follow instructions, and I don't get bitched around. So, we're getting tensions first night back with Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns, and they had the segment to close the show. So we're going to talk about all of this once we get to the ending segment, but pretty much the rest of the way of the show was filler. We had Carmella and Ruby Riott. This match literally went 2.5 minutes. Carmella wins, and they moved right on from that. They did not even show a replay of the finish. So, that was that. We had Bayley next, and she was honoring former champions since it was Throwback Night. She honored Alundra Blaze, Lita, I believe Jacqueline was up there, Molly Holly, Trish Stratus, Beth Phoenix, and then they threw up there Bianca Belair. I don't know why they threw up Bianca Belair as honoring legend champions, but there you have it. And she said, look at her eyes. She does not look like a confident champion. She does not look like a real champion. And then Bianca came out, and they did their promo. And Bianca talked about how she's going to whoop her ass at WrestleMania Backlash. Bayley laughed it off. I tried to attack Belair. Belair reversed it. Took her earring off. Bayley attacked her. Once she took her earring off, Belair had the other earring on, and she was snatching at it the entire time, trying to pull it off, and she got it off, and then she was standing on Belair's head, kicking her, and stuff like that. She gave her the faceplant finisher, and she stood tall. So, fine segment, I guess. It gets the bridge to the match at WrestleMania Backlash, which I totally expect Bianca Belair to win that match against Bayley clean. There's no reason for Bayley to win the championship besides giving Belair, establishing Belair as the champion on SmackDown. But I see someone else showing up at the pay-per-view, and I'm going to save that for next week. So, you're going to have to tune in. We got Dolph Ziggler versus Dominic Mysterio after it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio. The Dirty Dogs talks some smack on Dominic, how he doesn't deserve to be here. He didn't train, he didn't work his life off to get in here, while Dolph did. And then Dominic was like, I got him. I'm going to do this. So, I guess we're getting... And then it was confirmed earlier today that at the pay-per-view next week, it is going to be the Mysterios versus the Dirty Dogs for the Tag Team Championships. Should be a good match, but I think the Mysterios are going to take the titles off the Dirty Dogs. I'll be shocked if it's not. I'll be shocked if this match is not on the pre-show. It's either going to be that, or it's going to be Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo on the pre-show for WrestleMania Backlash. But Dominic Mysterio defeats Ziggler in 5 minutes after a roll-up, and there you go. You got some momentum there for the Mysterios. We had Tamina Snuka versus Reginald. Yes, you heard me right. Tamina Snuka versus Reginald. The first thing I thought about when I saw a graphic of this, you want to know what the first thing I thought about was? Mick Foley. And I know people, podcasters, have chomped the bit and gave their thoughts on what Mick Foley said. He even added Vince McMahon on Twitter. Like, Vince McMahon is going to see Mick Foley's tweet. But he said, you better make an all-women's show before AEW beats you to the punch. And I ask you guys, would you want to see Reginald versus Tamina Snuka on that all-women's show? Get out of here, man. Are you kidding me? How stupid can Mick Foley act? That's dumb. The women's division feels terrible. Maybe if you wanted an all-women's show for NXT, maybe, I would consider it. I would consider it. Maybe think about it. They got a stacked roster. They got a lot of women down there. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they could make that work. The main roster, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nothing is important in women's wrestling on the main roster in WWE's eyes besides Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. The rest, terrible. Terrible. They don't care about anything besides those three women in the women's division in WWE. I didn't even bother to watch this match. That's how disgusted I was that this match even happened in the first place. This match ended in a DQ after Tamina went on the top rope. Nia Jax distracted the referee, and Shayna Baszler attacked Tamina. And I feel bad for Shayna Baszler that she's got to be in shit segments like this. I really do. But here we are. They attacked the challengers. They attacked Tamina and Natalya. Shayna stomps on Tamina's elbow. And Nia Jax gives her a Samoan drop onto the barricade. And we're getting a women's tag title match next week on SmackDown. I don't care. I don't care about any of this. I'm sorry. Moving on. The 10-man tag I was talking about earlier involved King Corbin, Sami Zayn, Apollo Crews, Chad Gable, and Otis versus Kevin Owens, Big E, the Street Profits, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Sami Zayn had a segment with Teddy Long tonight. Teddy Long was like, "Tonight, you're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker." That is one of Teddy Long's best lines. That is classic Teddy Long. I had to mention it on the channel tonight. That is one of my favorite lines ever for Teddy Long ever. I joke about it with my friends all the time when we're making matches. He's like, "So-and-so, tonight you're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker." I laugh every time. I love it. That is classic Teddy Long right there. But he made a 10-man tag that, I didn't really care about at all. Good action. The match was good. I just didn't care. I didn't really care that much. King Corbin defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. Why you had to pin Shinsuke Nakamura and not Angelo Dawkins? I don't know why, but I guess WWE is laughing in everybody's face that thought they were going to push Shinsuke Nakamura after he had that long run in the gauntlet match all the way back in January, where Roman Reigns attacked him and made Adam Pearce pin him. After that match, everybody thought that WWE was going to push Shinsuke Nakamura. That didn't happen. They completely dropped the ball on that. So, there you go. And then finally, the last segment of the show was Jey Uso in line? Or is he not with the family? And Jimmy Uso, I said Jay, my bad. Jimmy reminds Jey of what happened all the way back at Hell in a Cell when he was getting brutalized and destroyed by Roman Reigns in the I Quit match. And he had to come down and save him. And the way he quit, the reason he quit was because Roman Reigns had Jimmy in a guillotine. And then Jey quit. I love that they brung that up. I love that they brung that up. I don't care if it was from 7 months ago. The fact that they brung it up, I really like that. So Roman Reigns is like, that's what this is all about. You're too focused on the past. This is the future. Me and your brother have been running roughshod ever since then. Look at him now compared to then. He is the right-hand man. He is the main event. Jey Uso. So you can fall in line and be a part of the family, or walk out, leave, and go home, and then you're going to have to explain to your kids why you're sitting on the couch and not at the arena making money. So Jey Uso walks out. Jimmy Uso. He walks out. He stops. Jey Uso goes after him. He's like, "You really want to do this, Uso? You really want to do this?" And then out of nowhere, Cesaro attacks Roman Reigns from behind. Jey Uso goes to help out Roman Reigns. Cesaro takes care of Jey. Jimmy's standing there. He's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And he's like, "You know what? I'm going to go help him." And then he gets uppercutted by Cesaro. And Cesaro takes out all three. Roman Reigns and the Usos to close the show. So, like I said before, WWE is setting up Cesaro to be an interim opponent once again I can totally see this being a one-match feud. Maybe, I'm not sure. Because it feels like WWE is already entering Roman Reigns into a new storyline. And it's very similar to the one that happened with Jey Uso. This time it's going to be with Jimmy Uso. And I'm intrigued to see what happens. They left you on a They left you on a cliffhanger. And usually WWE leaves you on a bad cliffhanger. This week they left you on a good cliffhanger. If Jimmy Uso is going to be with the family, or if he's going to have to suffer and acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. So we'll have to see what happens. It feels like WWE is making Cesaro the third wheel in all of this. Like I said, the match is going to be amazing. I'm sure Cesaro is going to bring Roman Reigns to the brisk of defeat. But he's ultimately going to pass out to the guillotine. And that's it. Roman Reigns moves on to the Jimmy Uso storyline. And I can totally see Roman Reigns feuding with Jimmy Uso during the summer months in June and July. And then when SummerSlam comes, there's a particular guy we haven't seen since WrestleMania, and his name is Edge. Early prediction for SummerSlam for the Universal Championship match is Edge versus Roman Reigns. And that's the SmackDown review here tonight on the channel. I thank each and every single one of you who tuned into the review tonight. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content. We're going to have the podcast up this weekend, episode 8 that is. I think it'll be up Sunday night. If I had to guess, it might change, but it'll be up Sunday. Sometime Sunday, I would have to guess around 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock Sunday night. We're going to shoot for that time for episode 8 of the Big Fight Fuel podcast. We're going to get a big episode in this week since we didn't get one last week. We're going to talk about Brian Pillman, Dark Side of the Ring. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, unfortunately, and a bunch of WWE news that came out during the week. So we're going to talk about that. Comment down below your thoughts on SmackDown. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me in the review. Follow me on Twitter, @Colin_Joseph. And before I got out of here, I almost forgot. I'm very sorry, but I remembered. Next week, Thursday that is, I'm going to be joined by a man who I met at WrestleMania, and he is a first-time guest on the Big Fight Field channel as Win Brantley, my good friend Win Brantley, who I met at WrestleMania. He is going to be on the channel next Thursday night to give his preview and predictions for WrestleMania Backlash. I am incredibly happy and excited to have Win on the Big Fight Field channel to talk about WrestleMania Backlash next week. That is going to be awesome. So I am very pumped up for that. And I will see you guys Sunday for the Big Fight Field podcast, episode 8, right here on the channel. So have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy.